For me, my world is about the unworld, unmarketing, unbranding, unselling. And what I mean by that is that most of the time, our most effective marketing and selling happens when we're not trying to. That's how this stuff works. Now, when I mean branding, I mean logos. And I know some of you have heard the Joshy story before. Who's heard the story? Put your hands up. All right, keep your mouth shut. So, this is the world, this is my world, the left-hand side here. The logo is where I used to live. Not in the Ritz-Carlton, but I used to live in the logo world. I used to run an agency, and logos were delicious to me because they made us money. A lot of money for these things. And if we wanted to make more money, we pitched a rebrand to the brand itself. They're like, we could use a rebrand. I'm like, cha-ching. That's how that works, right? Our sales are down, Scott. You need a new logo. That's what you need. It's not that your food is terrible at the restaurant. It's the color palette that's the problem here. No, your veal parmesan stinks, but come on, think red on the sign. Like, that's what we used to do. And the thing about logos is psychologists say we don't even see the logo. What we see when we see a logo is two things: our most recent experience with the brand, or one we've heard, and our most extreme experience with the brand, or one we've heard. Right? So when I look at the Ritz-Carlton logo, when I say Ritz-Carlton, when you see the Ritz-Carlton logo, what word comes to mind immediately? Luxury, fancy. Did somebody say ritzy? That's funny. Ma'am, there's only one comedian in the room right now, please. Let's take it down a notch, all right? I get it. You're funny at parties, I understand. So see, I have a microphone. It's so much easier for me. So, not one of you said, by the way, severed lion's head impaled on a crown. That's what it is. It's a violent logo if you actually look at it. And that's the thing. So when I see a Ritz-Carlton logo, I think of the last time I stayed at one. Wonderful place, obviously. And I think of Joshy. Now, Joshy is a stuffed giraffe, and a poorly stuffed one at that. He was left at the Ritz-Carlton Amelia Island in Florida by a child. Did I have to say child? Did you just assume it was a child and not a 72-year-old man leaving a... Because that would be weird. We'd be getting real weird right now if I talked about the old dude's stuffed animal. So he left it at the hotel. He forgot it. It's his favorite thing. It's his security blanket. And they went home to Phoenix, and the kid realizes he's lost his favorite thing. What happens when your kid loses their favorite thing, right? Who here has kids that you know about? That you'd stake claim to in a court of law. Okay. So we have 5 kids at home. If you look closely, you'll see right underneath there, 5. My only job as a father is to ensure that they have their favorite thing. That's really what it comes down to. So the father did in this situation what any good father would do, and he lied to his son. And he said that Joshy was on an extended vacation, and he's sure to return home soon, which is a great idea, Dad, temporarily. Now you've got to come up with them, or you got to learn to sew, or you're going to have to pay for the counseling that's going to happen when you don't come up with them. So the father calls the Ritz-Carlton up in a panic and says, please tell me you found him. And they did. They found him. He was rolled up in the end of the sheets. If you ever lose something in a hotel, by the way, check there. If you get lost in a hotel room, you're probably rolled up in the sheets. That's how it works. Like I've lost 45 chargers in hotel rooms this year. Like that's how it works. So he called him up, and not only did they find him, and not only did they overnight him back to the awaiting child at no charge to the family, by the way, they also sent back photos of his extended vacation. I don't even get cucumbers on my eyes when I go to the spa. The fake giraffe is being treated better than I do. Okay, and by the way, I want you to look to your left and your right, just briefly, and if the person beside you isn't smiling, you should probably change seats. I don't think PR is cut out for you, okay? Your hate of people is epic. Oh, wait, no, that's good for PR. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're good. You're in the right industry then. Forget it. So this is Joshy at the spa. We have Joshy at the pool. We got Joshy meeting new friends at the bar. The dolphin is inappropriate. Tonight, if you're still here, I'm going to hang out with some of your PR friends and you're standing at the bar in a circle and you can't spot the inappropriate dolphin, you're the inappropriate dolphin. Process of elimination, people. It's science. That's how this works. This is Joshy working loss prevention because he has to pay for his stay. And now that he's an employee of the Ritz-Carlton, they had to give him an ID badge. Laminated. If you didn't say "ah" just now, you're what's known as a psychopath and have no human emotion. They took the ID badge, the photos, Joshy, and a letter from the GM and overnighted it back to the family. When I say Ritz-Carlton, give me one word that comes to mind. Joshy, awesome, awe. Do you see how your view of a brand can change and the experience didn't happen to you? This is how it works. This is how things get spread. Everybody wants viral. Everybody wants word of mouth. But we don't realize the one key to going viral and getting word of mouth is doing something worth talking about. Damn, that's a good tweet. I'll wait. At UnMarketing. Hashtag amazing speaker. Hashtag man bun. Let it roll. Let's do this. Signal Labs out there has a dashboard right now of mentions. They're awesome, by the way. They have a dashboard out there, and right now I'm losing to the astronauts. So jack it up, people. Let's do this. It's not called unfair influence. I'm just suggesting. Okay, so they send it back to the whole family overnight. What do you think the father did when he got the package? Other than change his pants, what did he do? He told everybody. He told the neighbors and family. He blogged about it, which is where I read the story. He told he put it on Facebook. He put it, I need something more relatable to PR. He faxed it to people, right? No fax jokes. Okay, no fax jokes. Okay, I get it. It's too soon. It's still too soon. It's 2016. Stop it. Unplug. Just unplug it. But this is the point. We made the mouths move when we want word of mouth. So when I see the logo now, I don't see a lion. I see a giraffe. And that's how this stuff works. There's courses and techniques and conferences based on storytelling and brand storytelling. And you're in that business, except here's the problem. We don't write the story. We don't tell the story even. We try to influence the narrative. The stories that are told and that are listened to are the stories of the customer. It's come out and said, we trust strangers before we trust brands. It's just how it works. We'll trust a review on Yelp from a psychopath serial killer about a restaurant before we'll trust any other kind of stuff that comes out. I'm not saying everybody on Yelp's a psychopath serial killer, but some weird reviews on there. So you got to be careful. But the difference is that these stories will go out whether or not. That's the big difference. I think that's the biggest difference in the PR world now compared to 10, 15 years ago. Right? That old stat was like if you had a good experience, you told 3 people. If you had a bad one, you told 10. And now, good or bad, you tell infinite. The communication, the spread scale is infinite. I can have 10 followers on Twitter and it can reach 1 million people. And we share these things. And sadly, we share the negative, though, but not sadly, because we've never had an outlet before. We've never had a place where we could spread things and share things that got the same reach as Coke or Pepsi or McDonald's or something else, where we just put it out there and it just went nuts. We've never had the voice. And that's what's exciting for me and kind of be scary for your world and your industry as well. But everybody's the brand. Think about who started the Joshy story. It wasn't Ritz-Carlton, the head honcho. It was a person working in the hotel laundry and a front desk person. You want to know how to do great marketing, great PR, have great employees. I firmly believe that one of the best ways to market better is to hire better. I do. I think they should be in the same world. I don't think HR, marketing, and communications are always separate silos because customers don't see silos. They see a brand. That person at the front desk, brand. Person cleaning my room, brand. That's how it works. I used to be in HR, if you can believe that. I used to be in HR. That's what I went to college for. I used to do hire and fire at Goodwill Toronto's head office. That's what I did. I had to get out of HR when I realized I hate people. I didn't know if I hated them because I was in HR or when I went into HR, but tomato, tomato. But the point is that I think the best type of marketing we do is hire, have great people. You have less fires to put out in your world when you have better people in the job. That's how it works to me. Now, does this look creepy at all? It's a little creepy, right? It's a wee bit creepy. So we made this poster when the book on selling came out. We put it at our home office, and Allison and I, who are the co-authors of it, and she's also the co-host of our podcast and the co-owner of UnMarketing with me, and she's also my co-host in life. She's my wife, luckily for me. And so we put this up in our home office, which is also our bedroom. It's awkward. I know I'm the brand. I know I'm under the sheets of seeing you're the brand the whole time. But that phrase is true. That phrase is true. Your life would be easier if everybody understood this in the companies you work with or represent. That they are the brand and everything they do will impact those things. But then we get this world that's come out, especially in the past 6, 7, 8 years. This is my world. This is my domain. This is where I live. I can't keep up with all these places. And I don't have a job. That's the full sentence. I can't keep up with these things. And that's my only role in life, is to stay on top of these things. And I put this graphic up and people look at it and they're like, he's got MySpace on there. How old is that graphic? 51 million people per month currently use MySpace. Right? Did your brain just blow back out your ear? And my only question is, who? I haven't heard that phrase in 9 years. I haven't talked to anybody. If somebody came up to you and says, dude, we'll connect on MySpace, you're like, I gotta go. You're just like, I don't wanna know you. But it's being used. We have this bias in our world and in PR that we're like, the best avenues for us to go to are the ones I know. And that's not right. That's not right. And I'm guilty of it too. It's not right. What is the best technique, the best use for our client or my employer or my brand's wants and needs and resources and skill sets? That's the thing. We got to ensure that it can make sense and that we can deliver things and have deliverables that mean something, not vanity metrics, not things that look great, not Twitter reach, pretend. It means nothing. It means nothing. What needle can I move for this business and what platform is the best for it? And it may not be any of these. We just had dinner last night at a wonderful restaurant here, and we sat there, and the general manager sat down, and we talked about an article, and he got reviewed, and he got a great placement on one of the food blogs online, and the business increased by 35% for weeks because of that. He didn't get it through Snapchat. It wasn't because of Instagram. It was because of an article. Media, relationships, and placements still thrive, but we're like, no, Scott, we don't. That's old school. What's wrong with you? Harvard's an old school. It's still pretty good. Not too shabby, right? So over here, we're like, oh, we got to go here. You got to be on the Chapsnats, and you got to be on the, it's not called Chapsnat. Why aren't you laughing? Oh, I thought it was called that. It was okay. So we don't have to be on the tweezers and the book faces. We gotta be over here, Scott. We gotta be here now with all of our outreach because the millennials are coming. We have to be prepared. Like the ship is about to land and we need to be ready. We don't even know what millennials actually means. It's actually between 18 and 34-year-olds. Who in this room is between 18 and 34? Put your hands up. Oh God, you're here. Okay, so I was told it was gonna be fellow old people today, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so millennials, I wanna give you a little secret. I'm gonna let you in on our world, the older folk world. When we say millennials, working with them, marketing to them, selling to them, what we mean by millennials when we say that word is people younger than us, and we don't like you. Full stop. That's it. That's the entire statement. Fellow older folk, am I telling the truth? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you hear that bitter clap? Yes. 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 You wonder why we give you the stink eye when you complain when the Wi-Fi goes down. You're like, I can't stream Spotify. I made a new playlist. Do you know how we used to make a playlist? Play, record, and pause on the Ghetto Blaster. What's top? It's the top 8 at 8. I know there'll be a good one. Hang on. Is that Belle Biv DeVoe Poison? I think it is. I think it is. Yeah, let it go. Let it go. And we recorded it if the DJ would shut up for a second and stop talking through the song, right? And then you think when your phone dies, that's a tragedy? Oh, no. No, no. Let me give you a tragedy. When you're listening to Belle Biv DeVoe, it's like, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, 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 no! And you pull the tape out and it's a spider web of tape. Somebody get me a pencil! And if you got the pencil joke, we just became best friends. And if you didn't, get it. I'm not explaining to you the pencil. I'm not. But this is the problem. This is the actual thing. We create a stereotype. When we generalize 18 years of people, it's called stereotyping. It's called prejudice. That's what it is. It makes no sense to me. I've actually seen content about this. I saw a post that said, millennials don't like meetings. What the? Nobody likes meetings. Nobody of any age is sitting around saying, Jeff, you want to go have lunch? I'm buying. Nah, I want to go to a meeting. Well, giddy up, let's go. What are you going to do in the meeting today? I'm going to throw my subordinate under the bus. What are you going to do? I'm going to take credit for an idea that wasn't mine. Here we go. Awesome. Good. What do you want to do? I love sitting around a table for 3 hours that could have been solved in 2 emails. Wicked. I hope there's donuts. Awesome. Here we go. Millennials are just naive enough to think they don't have to attend the meetings. I find it adorable. Okay? They have something that us fellow old folks do not have, and you can see it in their eyes. They have hope. It'll go away. But it has to erode on its own. You have to let it die on its own. You can't rush it as much as you want to. They will be one of us. They will be. It'll take some time. It's okay. I saw another post that said millennials are hard to keep on as employees because they like to travel. Everybody likes to travel. We just have mortgages and children that the law says we can't leave for 8 weeks of them on their own, even though we stock the fridge full of cheese, which I don't see as a problem here. Okay, this is the problem. This is the issue. We create this bias. It doesn't make any sense to me. The biggest shift I've seen is not generational. It's communication-wise. that the preference of communication is what has shifted. But it hasn't shifted for millennials, it's shifted for everybody. Communication methodologies is the biggest part. And the only communication preference that matters is the person paying the bill, the customer. If customers of your brands like to tweet, then you better be on Twitter. If they like to email, then give them that avenue. But when we force them down one communication method, it's going to make them bitter and begrudgingly. They don't want to do it. I will avoid businesses if I have to talk to a human. I hate the phone. Who here hates using the phone? Yeah, I love you. I love you. Whose preferred method of communication is talking on the phone? Weirdos. So, email, text, fax. I'm just kidding. All right, I'm done with the fax first. I'm sorry. So, but this is you see how there's difference, though? Again, we're being self-centered a lot of times, saying, well, I like to communicate this way, therefore my client can or should. It doesn't matter. It should go the way the money goes. And it's not generational. My mom texts me. She's 70. She sends me texts. Now, she signs each line of text with mom. And if you're not laughing, you're part of the problem. And I write her back, I'm like, Ma, you don't have to sign the text because I know it's from you, I can see that. And she writes me back, she's like, I'm your mother, I can do whatever I please. Mom. You see where I got it from? I just don't think bias makes sense. I understand the bitterness and the intimidation sometimes of us with the younger generation coming up who've grown up with tech, but I think that's an asset. I think tech as your right arm is an asset. And I think if we combine our side of our asset, which is the experience in the industry, we should be unstoppable together. We should be unstoppable together. But that's the problem. We don't do it that way. We butt heads. We become confrontational. That's not the way we need to have these things and be. I'll give you a classic example of how this stuff works, where influencer marketing is a great buzz term today. Yes? We good? This is how I ask you questions so I can take a drink of water. I don't even think that was my water. So I'm just going to go to a walk-in clinic after this. So what happened? So I'm so, like the new subtitle of the book is Everything Has Changed and Nothing is Different. Okay, it came out like 10 days ago. We revised it because we wrote the original UnMarketing 6 years ago. And why we use that subtitle, Everything Has Changed, Nothing is Different, is because sometimes, most of the time, the age-old methods work best. And we're so busy saying, but we gotta be here and here and here, and sometimes just having good relationships with good people makes a lot of sense. Which is where your asset is to me, by the way. Your relationships, you build in, that's where you differentiate yourself from somebody else, that you know people and you can connect the right people. I get contacted every week, and my assistant gets contacted every week by wanting me to promote somebody's product or service. I'm what they call an influencer. It's the worst thing I've ever been called. And brands want me to reach out to me and send me free crap, and then I'll promote it. I'm like, of course you do. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's for every 100 inquiries, we may look at one. And that's going to be the story right now of Tassimo. So Kraft in Canada owns rights to Tassimo. And they were going to roll out the Tassimo machines in 2010. But they didn't have the budget, nor did they want to spend the money on a classical ad campaign. They didn't want to do TV, they didn't want to do radio. They wanted, and this is back in the day, 6 years ago, they wanted to do an influencer campaign. So they looked at the online chatter and the metrics, and they found the most influential people in Canada who talked about coffee, like just within their tweets, not like coffee experts, but just regular consumers who mentioned coffee. And so we got an email. And it got through the gauntlet to me, through Karen, who's my coordinator of Awesome. She's been with me now for 11 years. She's been with me for 11 years, so she knows exactly what I will not do and will not say, which is everything. I don't like doing work. Like that's it. I don't like working. And so I don't want to deal with these. I don't want to hear them. And she forwards me this email from Dury. And Dury works at one of the agencies in Toronto, and he says, hey, Scott, I love your stuff. I love your blog. I'm like, thank you. And he's buttering me up, well done. But it wasn't a form letter. He actually mentioned a few of the things I brought up, and he's like, one of our clients is Tassimo, and we know you like coffee, and we'd love for you to try our single-serve brewing system. is it okay if I send you one and some samples and you just give it a shot? If you like it, we'd love for you to talk about it, but it's up to you. And if you don't, we prefer you not talk about it publicly, but you can. And I'm like, I like your style. All right, I'm in. And he ships us the unit. And I try it. And breaking somebody's coffee habit is harder than heroin to break. Like, it is your day, right? You have a routine, yes? And my routine was not brewing coffee at home because I'd make a pot and it would sit there. I would drive to a drive-thru and pick up Tim Hortons because that's the law where I'm from. That's just part of being a Canadian citizen. So I got the machine, we tried it, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I never used one of these before. And I started tweeting about it. I'm like, wicked, awesome, I love this thing. And Dury writes me back 2 weeks later, and he says, I've been seeing your tweets. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. So he's using a reverse ninja mind screw on me. Like, oh, I know what you're doing. He's like, no, you don't have to tweet. I'm like, oh, I'll tweet. I'll tweet when I damn well want to. I'm going to tweet right now. You don't think I could tweet? Wait, he did it. Oh, well done. So then he writes me and says, awesome, Scott, we're so glad. Can you pick 10 people, friends of yours, family, that are on Twitter as well, and we'll send them a unit as well? I'm like, now I'm frickin' Oprah. You get a coffee machine. You get a coffee machine. Everybody gets a coffee machine. Ma, get on Twitter. I can send you a coffee machine. And now I'm Santa. I'm sending out coffee machines. The discs are flying places. Now all of Canada has the machines, right? And 6.5 years later, I still have a Tassimo. And I still use it every day at home. So now, out of the discs I've bought, I've made back the money they would have spent on this campaign. But here's the biggest part. At the time of launching the campaign, they had a 0.04% share of the coffee conversation in Canada. After the campaign was over, and it plateaued, they wanted to increase this times 10 or so. They wanted to get to 0.4 just to start getting known. At the end of this campaign, they were at 12.6% of the nationwide coffee conversation. Nationwide. PR doesn't stand to me for press release. PR isn't about shouting. Public relations is about public relations. The ability to build relationships, to find the people who you connect with, that can give your brands the reach you want. And in a way that's not cookie cutter, that's not shotgun approach, that's not cut and paste. See, Dury knew of me for a while. Like, I was really popular, especially on Twitter, back in the day, like 4 weeks ago. If it wasn't for Justin Bieber, I'd be the most popular Canadian on Twitter. Let's just put it that way. And he had 100 clients saying, let's use Scott for this. And he never brought any of them to me until Tassimo happened. That's it. The skill of PR to me is not only being able to communicate, but matching the right voice with the right brand and having it go. It's amazing to me that we just think, no. I'm going to put you on a BCC'd email list and blast it out to you. That's not skill. That's just automation. It's not what it's about. It's about the connections and the relationships we have. Even people are like, well, let's hit Instagram. Because we're going to go on the gram. I think that's what the children call it. I don't know. The IG. I don't know, that's what old people call it, thinking they're younger. We're going to go on there, and we're going to trend. We can just put photos on there, and it's going to rule. We're going to trend hard. It's going to be awesome. It's a funny quote. Okay, so it's not landing as well as I thought. So the joke here is what this means. I'm not going to explain it to you. But this is the problem. So then, as people in brands were like, well, photos trend, and they're going well in Facebook's EdgeRank algorithm. So we need to use photos, and we'll be original with it, and we'll share it, and it'll be awesome, and it'll go. And I'll give you a minute to get the joke here. But this is the point, and I just start seeing brands with totally irrelevant content. Radio stations are the worst for this on Facebook, by the way. They're sharing memes and viral Reddit content that has nothing to do with their brand. just to get vanity metrics that also mean nothing at all. And we're like, no, we'll go with influencers. We'll pay people on Instagram to share things, and then they won't disclose it. And then we may or may not be breaking either guidelines and or law with this, by the way, which is your job to make sure they don't. Here's an example. This dude, Scott Diddick, or I'm pretending I don't know who the Kardashians are. So this is him pimping out Booty Shake. Booty Shake. B-O-O-T-E-A. Puns are very important for the tea industry, teeth whitening industry, and children's haircuts. So he's going to share this, right? He's been paid to promote this booty shake. I'm not sure if Scott uses it to get the booty he has. I don't know, understand. But he shares it. So the PR person gives him the copy to say because they want it to be authentic. I'll give you a second for the irony of that one. So he's like, okay, and Scott, being the whippersnapper he is, understands how the internet tubes work. He posts what the PR person sends him, exactly what they send him, by the way. Here you go, at 4 p.m., write the below caption. Keeping up with the summer workout routine with my morning booty protein shake. You moron. You know why I hate this? It's not because of this. It's because it got over 4,000 likes already. That's what I'm jealous about. That's what makes me angry. This is the problem where we go. We're like, no, this is just all we have to do. And by the way, this is the third time he's done this. Come on, Scott. Come on, man. You have no other job except just Instagram crap. And that's it. You have no other role in life, and we messed that up. You're killing me, dude. And then we get into this world. Ooh, here we go. Let's hop into the 360 and the AR and VR because it's going to kill and it's going to be the new way. And even so, maybe we'll even do live video. Let's do live video first. Let me tell you something right now. You are not that interesting. Your brands, you are not interesting enough for me to stream it live. Okay, it doesn't make, I believe 85% of humans on this earth are unfilmable. Unfilmable. A combination of being awkward looking or you don't want to be in front of a camera. Most people aren't like me. Jackass. Most people aren't like me who love to be on video and love to do these things and are missing that synapse that says be nervous. I love doing this. This is my world. Most won't or can't. Video is unforgiving. Video is intimidating for people, and it's very hard to do well. Static video, just recorded video. Throw in the fact that it's live, and there's comments coming up, and trolls, and somebody saying penis, and it comes up, and then hearts fly across the screen, and that's what you want to do? What is happening in your corporation right now that deems it necessary to record it frickin' live? That's what I want to know. There's a few, by the way, I was complaining about it to Allison about live video. We're in bed, I'm on my laptop, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. While I'm streaming a live concert, the Prophets of Rage concert in Toronto, Live Nation streamed it, so I'm like, oh, well, and I watched it for 2 hours. So, when in context, and this is the key, context, not just of context of the content, but the context of the medium that you're using, if it makes sense, if it makes it relevant. Therefore, a live concert in my city of a band and I couldn't get to the concert to go see it, made sense to stream live because it added value. But you live broadcasting from your desk about something may or may not make it valuable because it's live. Most things in life can give much better video if it's recorded and edited. Make sense? Live is just that thing right now, and because Facebook's EdgeRank algorithm gives it a boost, we're all like, well, we should do that. No. It's not if we can, it's should you. And the same thing goes for here. 360, I own the camera. I own the Mevo live streaming. I bought all this stuff so you don't have to. And I love the idea of this stuff. I love VR, I love AR, I love all this stuff. I play Pokemon Go for love of crying out loud. Team Mystic. So, yeah, we're here. So the problem, like I've been using a Viewmaster since I was 2. Like I know this stuff. This is what I want to do. The problem is, again, we're expecting consumers to adopt this. And that's where the fault is. It isn't technology and the issue with that and whether or not it's going to be fast enough and whether or not we can use goggles without feeling sick because of the motion in our brain and how it works. All that. I love Oculus Rift. I love the idea of being in Call of Duty. I love the idea of walking around and smashing into my lamp and walking around and doing this. I love it. I've been waiting my whole life to be in a video game like that. I love the thought. But consumers who have trouble and don't understand how to scan a QR code to save their life may not be ready on this side of things. Now, if you can provide the equipment to the consumer in the moment at the time, it can be brilliant. It is so immersive, it redefines immersive. That's what I mean. As an example, UNICEF did the amazing thing. They did No Child Too Far. They did a video and they sent these Google Cardboard out. But it came flat, by the way. So you had to assemble it, which disqualifies 96% of the human race. Okay, I had to get one of the children to put this together. Our 12-year-old, like, let me just do that, and puts it all together. And then you put your phone in. Again, you're depending on the human race to do that. But once you put it on, you put your headphones on, it transported you to Syria, to a refugee camp. And you walk around the refugee camp, and children come up and they play soccer with you. And you're there. Now that's brilliant. But remember, context. That made sense. One of the biggest things and the problems for charities is making you have empathy and sympathy and involving you, putting you in it. You don't get more in it than this. But the only way they could do it, it would have cost them $1 million to make this if the director and the company didn't fund it for them. So to film VR properly is very cost prohibitive for most places. To do it well, by the way. Quality is still low, but to do it well, to get that new camera that comes out that has the big ball around it, $78,000 to start. It's a lot. Now, I have the 360 camera. If you do PR for a restaurant, is it cool to take a picture and around and have this? Sure, awesome, perfect. But remember, context is important. Context is very, very important here. Here's what we did. I was on the board for the Humane Society in our town, and they had these wonderful new puppies, and they had 12 of them, and I put the Theta 360 camera in the middle of the room and walked away, and the puppies ran around. I think one of them's pooping, but they're puppies. Puppies do that. And it was awesome, and we put it on, and they got thousands of views, and then at the end of it, the puppy comes up and eats the camera. Like, I know. So I go grab it. But the point, and they were happy. Did it increase donations for them? I don't think so. They were happy. And so that's my struggle. The clients, or the client, we donated it to them, but the client was happy with the metrics, but the metrics were vanity. That's my struggle. You know what I mean? Where we talk about reach and like, well, they talk about 1 million reach, and then if you say it too, then it's not impactful, but it looks good. That's my struggle with all of this. Yeah, we got a lot of views. Did it move the needle? I don't know. I don't know if it did. So that's my biggest problem with it. That's my biggest struggle with it. We have to be careful with where we're going. So we jump into the world of newsjacking, the worst term in the history of humans. But this is where you guys are supposed to, make your living, really, where you can leverage things that are happening out there. It's classic PR. It's classic at how it works. The problem is now we think we have to do it real time. And so immediate. So we're like, the worst thing to happen to your industry was the Oreo dunk in the dark. It was the worst thing that could happen to your industry because everybody's like, oh, real-time marketing. That was 1.5 years marketing. That's what that led up to that point. We don't see the behind the curtain. We just think, well, that's what we do, and Oreo did it, so we can too. And we're freaking out. We're jumping around. That's not strategy. That's panicking. That's not how you run a business. It's jumping all over because no time marketing. It's not even real time. Then you don't have time to vet. And then so you do things like this. When Gene Wilder, rest in peace, passes away, and a person writes an article, what if you managed like Willy Wonka the day after he died? I don't think you're a good person if you do this. I don't like you. I should probably censor out her Twitter name. But anyways, I don't like you when you do this. I don't like anybody doing this. When a tragedy happens, when a death happens, when a natural disaster happens, you do one of two things. You help or you shut up. End of list. That's it. Leverage and tragedy are not two phrases that should go together. We have no boundary, too. We have no way of being a boundary. This is a Walmart in Florida a month ago. Somebody looked at this and said, well done. Nobody does this on their own. There was also a mattress store that did a Twin Towers sale. Every mattress was on sale for the same price as a twin. And there was the woman speaking and two employees behind her, and they had 2 towers of mattresses behind them. And they're like, queen on sale? Yep. King on sale? And she's like, everything's on sale. And put her hands back, and they both fell into the towers. And she looked at the camera and said, never forget, and walked away. Yeah. This is the bar we've set. Please don't go on that bar. I don't have to tell you why or why not, but this is happening all the time. We're leveraging deaths all the time. We're leveraging tragedies. You live in a country where Memorial Day sale is legit. That hurts my soul. We're supposed to be honoring veterans, but it's making money. No. We're better than this. We're better than that low-hanging rotten fruit that we can pick when these things happen. Do it like this, which is Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs, and he's got a huge Facebook presence, and he shares this picture that went viral, this guy, right, working on a pipe under the water, and he puts on his page, I don't know who this guy is, but he's all over my wall, all over Facebook and all over the internet. Hell of a thing to have your photo go viral and still remain completely anonymous. At any rate, if you recognize him, tell him the first beer's on me, and he's wearing Wrangler jeans. So Wrangler jumps in and says, that's a hell of a dirty job. That's his show. Well played. You buy the beer, Mike, and we'll get him some new jeans. And then they found the guy. And now he's got a lifetime supply of jeans. And Mike Rowe's buying the guy a beer. That's how you newsjack. That's how you leverage. You listen for your name. You listen for your opportunity in a good light. And then you do this. This is what I love about PR. This is proper. That's mad skills in PR right there, not the other way around. I have one more thing to show you, but before I do, please join Allison and I on the UnPodcast. That's Allison, by the way. Hi. We met on Twitter. I have the greatest social media ROI in history. I don't care what metrics you got. I got her. Thank you. Are you football fans here? Do you know the term, I outkicked my coverage? That's meaning I've way over my head in this league here. And it's amazing, and it's awesome, and I can't be happier. And we do a show together. It's just me being like this and her being sensible and smart and funny. It's called the UnPodcast, the business show for the fed up. So every Wednesday it comes out, so a new episode tomorrow. Last week, one of the things we talked about was the car that was made for women. Yeah, wait for it. It's awesome. Yeah, we enjoy the show. So please join us on that. Or you can text, hook me up to 33444, and it'll give you the information as well. If it's easier for you, I won't hook up with you. We'll hook you up with the email. It's a weird phrase I use. I'm sorry. But that's how we do it. So yeah, please join us anytime. So the last thing I want to show you is my favorite tweet of all time. Okay, it's not the tweet I'm about to show you, by the way, but the reply to it. Okay? You ready? Ready? Sweet, let's do this. So, Men's Humor tweets, this morning I gave birth to a food baby, and I think Taco Bell is the father. Let's hire Scott to keynote the final day. He won't end it on a poop joke, will he? Right? Let's see an astronaut do that. All right, here we go. How do you reply? In a PR sense, how would you reply to this as a brand? You can't stoop to their level of humor. There's no lower form of humor than men's humor. So Taco Bell, one of my favorite brand voices online, tweets the only reply possible, and they said, I want a DNA test. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day.